Sickos Club.
Sickos Club.
Well, welcome everyone to a very special moment here on Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out, a pro wrestling podcast about pro wrestling. I'm very happy to say that I am once again joined by my co-host, the one, the only, the greatest Canadian pro wrestling podcaster in the history of Canadian pro wrestling podcasts. The best there is, the best was, the best there ever will be. Joshi G. Joshi, hello.
Hey, I Blade.
You might notice I'm a little more low-key today, and there's a good reason for that, because a day that I have long known is coming is finally here. And Joshi, it's time to talk about it. Why don't we tell the people what we're here to talk about?
Okay, so we're going to jump on the serious conversation right away.
You know me. I like, hey, let's talk. Dramatic music plays. Everybody gets really intense right off the bat.
All right, let's shed some tears now.
Yes.
Yes, so I had mentioned last time when I was on the show that I was pregnant and that I was going to give birth soonish. So soonish turned into early next week.
Yeah.
So because of that, I will have to take a break from the podcast. I will be on a hiatus for a little while. That doesn't mean that I'll be gone long term or that I'm not coming back. With a newborn baby, they don't have a fixed schedule right away. They wake up a lot. You're trying to figure out how things work, trying to establish a routine. Plus, I'll be recovering from postpartum. So it's going to take some time to adjust to this new life, essentially. So I'm going to need time to recover and also time to bond with the little one, with Joshi B, and to learn how to take care of him, essentially.
Yeah.
So, of course, I'm going to miss the show a lot. I'll continue to give you some of my perspective on certain things in wrestling. I'll do that and share notes and whatnot. For sure, I would still like my voice to be heard on the show.
Of course.
But that's basically it. I mean, for now, Joshi G has to jump on this new chapter. Hopefully, I won't be gone too long. Like I said, it won't be long term, but I imagine that after a month or so, I will get tired of talking to a baby and a dog, and I'll want some adult interaction. But, we'll take it day to day and see how that goes. In the meantime, happy holidays, everybody. Hope you enjoy your time with your loved ones, and wishing you all a terrific 2026. I can't believe it's going to be 2026 soon.
Sounds like a made-up year, doesn't it?
It really does. It's really weird. Yeah. I don't know where the time went.
Like, your baby's birthday is going to be in 2025. Like, I was born in 2025. That just doesn't even sound real to me. That's like such a weird thing to think about, I do want to say, we aren't just podcast hosts, right? You're my bestie, you're my restie. And I've known that this is coming for a long time. We've talked so much about, like, how this is going. We've checked in with each other a lot, and I've seen all the different trials and challenges you've gone through. And I just want to say I'm so happy for you. I know everybody else in the audience is happy for you. They've been telling me for weeks, no matter how hard I try to do a good job here, they're like, where's Joshi? Where's Joshi G? And I'm like, all right, guys, but I'm still here. I'm trying. And then Uncle Don, clowned on me. He dunked on me on Dynamite this week because I dared to speak out about the confusion about this unified title. I've been getting it from all sides, is what I'm saying. You're gonna have to help me out when you come back. I'm gonna need you to hide behind.
Well, I'll have a talk with Uncle Don, because I do agree with you, iBlade.
Okay.
This whole unified title situation has been very confusing.
It's been a mess.
It's been a mess I didn't know until now that the titles weren't actually unified, for crying out loud. So they did not explain that well. Like, sure, Uncle Don on Dynamite explained it, and he was acting like the audience is dumb. Uncle Don, come on, man.
Yeah.
This was not clear at all.
No. And, I think this is one of the few things that AEW still really needs to improve on. And it's not just about the unified title. I mean, there's still people who don't know what the tailgate brawl is. There's still people.
Right.
So they don't want to like beat you to death with explanations like other places do in New York, perhaps. But they need to do a little more sometimes. And with the title situation, I think that Tony tries to treat the titles kind of like boxing or other, shoot sports, I guess, MMA, something like that. He did it with the interim championships as well. And people generally don't like that very much either. So we certainly weren't, I don't think Don was really dunking on me specifically. I just happened to make a podcast that was very loudly about that last week. And then this week, Uncle Don, he didn't just dunk on me. He dunked on many of us. But thankfully, Renee was there to keep him in line and say, hey, this was confusing. Why aren't you putting the international title on the line too? So it can be unified still. So Don took the heat for it as well. So we'll see where that goes. But what are, just kind of before I let you go, before we go, because we also have a complete episode coming up. I'm going to have our good friend. You can't see him because he's a ghost, but Neon Ghost is going to be joining me to talk all about the week in AEW and ROH Final Battle. So this episode's coming out, a day later than it normally does. But what are your thoughts kind of on the general state of AEW right now?
I'm definitely enjoying the Continental Classic.
Yeah.
I have to say, Kevin Knight beating Darby Allin completely took me off guard. I did not see that one coming. I thought that was a really cool decision. It was just so unpredictable because I just thought, no way, like Darby Allin has to win this match. I was wrong. I also thought it was really cool that Claudio beats Jon Moxley.
Yeah.
We knew it was a possibility. Right now we're going through the downfall of Mox. So it wasn't as shocking as Kevin Knight beating Darby Allin, but still, I thought it was very interesting that they decided to go with that result. And also, Okada versus Fletcher, I think a lot of people expected a draw.
Yeah.
And that did not happen. Fletcher beat Okada. That was a huge deal. So I do like the results so far. I'm enjoying the matches a lot. I've been enjoying seeing Eddie back on television.
Yeah.
I just love that he'll cut a promo and get straight to the point. He doesn't, he's not long-winded.
There's no song and dance.
He doesn't want to take up a lot of time. He just gets to the point. Really refreshing to see Eddie Kingston back in AEW. And also, man, I have to say, iBlade, when it comes to the whole package, Pac is one of the best in the freaking world. It's just amazing to me how, and this is how I feel about it. Like he'll be in AEW. He'll be featured regularly. He's cutting these amazing promos. I don't know. Like this guy speaks very eloquently. He's very dark. But and his wrestling is awesome. He's obviously made some minor tweaks to his wrestling moves as well. Like he's relying less on the high flying aspect, which is fine because he does everything so perfectly. But the thing with Pac is when he's featured in AEW regularly, I love him, and I'm just like, Pac. I'm always singing his praises.
Right.
Then he'll get hurt, which sucks because he does get hurt quite a bit.
Yes.
Let's be honest, right? So when that happens and he's out for a while, I start to think, unfortunately, maybe they'll have to let Pac go at some point because like this happens pretty regularly. And then he'll come back and I'm like, yeah, Nope. Why did I even say that in the first place?
100%. For me, it's like, I don't know that I think like they'll have to let him go. I'm more like he just has a ceiling and he can only go so far.
Right. Yeah.
And then I'll start like, he won't be around for a while. And so I'll kind of be like, that's okay though. They need guys to be gatekeeper heels and stuff. And then you see him wrestle and you're like, what the fuck am I talking about?
Yeah.
Like, him versus Okada this week was just unfucking believable.
I know.
It was insane. I think they were rebuilding Pac a little bit when he first came back. And it's very clear now that there's going to be a parting of the ways with somebody in the Death Riders who I think we all know who that is. I think the only real question is like, who's the leader once that's done? Is Marina going to go with Mox? Is it going to be Claudio that takes over? Is it going to be Pac that takes over? There's a lot more interest in what happens now with the Death Riders, and I'm actually fine with them staying together without Mox. Remember, we were talking to you, brought up a great question that I have posed to a lot of people who could not answer this question. Who does the talking without Mox? Now we're starting to get like, we've seen Pac cut incredible promos. I think Claudio could do it if he really wanted to. I thought that match that he had with Mox was fucking excellent.
It was.
Claudio looked like a badass in that match, and he looked like a guy who could lead a faction, So I'm very interested to see what happens with the Death Riders in a way I definitely was not before this. We also have Samoa Joe and the Ops kind of running wild. I loved Hangman going like, I lost the title because of Hook, which is really what a lot of fans were saying, right? Like Hook's going to cost Hangman the title. And Hangman's saying the same goddamn thing. That's smart to lean into that, How do you feel about the women's tag titles?
So I did not expect these two teams facing each other in the finals.
Nope.
It will be interesting for sure. I've been enjoying the women's tag tournament. It's been really fun to watch. There's been, there have been some matches that are better than others and whatnot. But yeah, no, I didn't expect it to be Babes of Wrath versus the Timeless Love Bombs. I'm assuming that Tony and Mina will win. I feel like they want to put the belts on the women that are the most over.
Yeah.
And they are at the moment.
Willow's so close, though. You know what I mean? Like Willow and Harley. I mean, it's weird because I could kind of see it going either way. Actually, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, if you put it on Willow and Harley, it's going to get over too,
Yeah. No, for sure.
Tony's the biggest name in the thing that's still left. And so I see what you're saying, but I was like, Willow's not far off that though, and so I mean, I could see it going either direction. I want both teams to stay together.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. Yeah.
What's most important to me is that these teams don't lose and then break up. I think Anna Jay is definitely going to end up staying in AEW. I don't, why would she leave? If you want to wrestle, you're already where you belong, I think. She'll definitely get more screen time there. She'd be in NXT otherwise, It's not like there's as much upward mobility elsewhere as there has been. She's not going to TNA, for Christ's sake.
No.
So I think Ty J has long-term potential. Obviously, Sisters of Sin aren't going anywhere. But I want to see, keep Alex Windsor and Rio together for a while.
Yes.
Keep all these teams together for a while. I kind of liked that Marina and Penelope and Megan didn't win because I don't want them to stay a team. I want Penelope and Megan to be a team.
Me too.
When Penelope comes back. So they're still signing more women, huge news this week. They signed Lena Cross, who was somebody you and I have been talking about nonstop pretty much since she made that. She was rumored to be signing with TNA. And then the day that was announced, she got a last minute booking for AEW and showed up there. And it got a lot of people talking. And I think Tony must have made her a pretty good offer, They
absolutely made the right call signing her.
Yes.
she has been getting a lot of traction all over the world. And I watched her match against Megan Bayne. I don't remember where the match took place, unfortunately, but she looked really good. And even when she wrestled Chris Stylander in that really short match on Collision, she got some offense. She made an impression. It wasn't just like, oh.
But Joshi, that was a 3-minute squash. Like, are you telling me that benefited her somehow?
I know, right? I mean, 3 minutes.
It's only 3 minutes on TV. She should have demanded that she speak to Tony Khan personally, and that she go over on Chris Statlander. Is it?
Yeah, it was Chris Statlander.
Okay, yeah, current women's world champion,
right?
You know, I'm starting to see the logic in what you're saying, Joshi. I'm starting to see it.
But really, though, you know, she's one of those wrestlers that I didn't even really know much about until a few months ago. And when I started to see more of her, I thought, whoa, okay, this girl has something. She has a great look, too. I love her hair, and she's really tall and
really tall.
Yeah, like tall, good looking, really good in the ring. So I'm thrilled. I'm really happy with that because we hadn't really heard anything after her match on Collision. We didn't know if they were going to bring her back or anything like that. So that was a really nice surprise this week to find out that AEW had signed her. And yeah, they signed, was it Lacey Lane? Well, that was her name in NXT. I always forget her.
Yeah, I think it's Lacey Lane, isn't it?
Is it? It's
yeah. Because they said, didn't they accuse her of stealing from JC Jane or something? Wasn't her name JC Jane? And then she went by Lacey Lane or something?
That's it, yeah.
And she wrestled Mercedes on Collision, I believe. And
which was good.
Had a great match with her and looked fantastic.
Yeah.
So she debuted in NXT right when I stopped watching completely.
A while ago.
Yeah, I mean, she was there a while. Like, you know, I stopped watching WWE like 5 years ago, you know, so yeah, I haven't seen an episode of NXT in a very long time. But I remember her being kind of a jobber, but thinking she had like a really interesting look. She definitely jumped off the screen, you know, and I think Tony's stacking ROH up with some talent as well. And, you know, I think he kind of feels like he's building ROH differently this year. You know, he's said so, and that he's more personally involved in ROH. I think he kind of looks at Bandito and Athena and Red Velvet as cornerstones of ROH right now. I think Athena's done what she can do personally, and I would love to see somebody else do it. But as we tape this, she is wrestling Persephone tonight, so there's always a chance. But I don't think it's likely on Persephone. I would love that, though.
Oh yeah, God. Me too. Well, it's just gotten to the point where Athena, Red Velvet, Bandito, they should be in AEW.
After that match with Mercedes that Velvet had, main roster all the way.
Yeah, there's no reason to keep them on ROH. And this is why I think it's important for ROH to become more like NXT. It's like, stop pausing that. You just need to do it. Yep. And I hope that's why he's signing all these women, so that way the Athenas and the Red Velvets don't have to stay there, because it's just, you know, Athena is an excellent wrestler. She's one of the best wrestlers in the world, period. Why would you keep her on a show that not that many people have access to?
Right.
When she should be wrestling the best freaking talent on your main show.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. You know, we talked about how, maybe it was so they could get a TV deal. Well, they haven't gotten one. I don't know when they will. So enough of this. Just focus on the young talent. Like, for example, Zeta Steele. She's like 22 years old, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I'm not that familiar with her, but I did watch her interaction with Layla Gray, and she seems very comfortable on the microphone already, which is great. So it's like, focus on her. You have Trisha Dora there. You have Serena Deeb, who is a veteran, maybe she fits in more there with her pure technical skills. You have Billy Starks. You could keep her in ROH for longer. I don't think you need to put her in AEW. She still needs work.
I think Billy is Athena's heir. I think that Billy has always been the one that they've wanted to take the belt off Athena. She just hasn't been ready to, in their estimation. And it's like, how many more times can they wrestle though?
I mean, yeah, really.
She's wrestled her twice in a main event on a special event, and she's lost. I thought she was going to win the last time, but now we've hit the 1,000 days. We've hit,
it's enough.
All the big hallmarks that you can hit, we've hit. So Athena is, on any given day, you could call her the best women's wrestler in the world. And I wouldn't argue with you because I think she's that good. She can hang with anybody. And, she goes to Japan, hangs with them just fine. She's incredible. So, we all have our favorites. Athena is absolutely one of mine. And I would like to see her on Dynamite and Collision. That's kind of the women's division at the moment. Any other thoughts you want to share with our audience before your sayonara bye-bye?
Oh, I do have to say, I thought Chris Statlander versus Mercedes at Full Gear was a really great match. It was an excellent match. Man, those two, the chemistry that they have.
Unbelievable. Statlander's glow up on promos has been outstanding.
I know. She's so comfortable.
It's not the big two anymore. It was Mercedes and Tony. And now it's Mercedes, Tony, and Chris.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. It's been amazing to watch her develop so quickly. And she's been doing a really great job as the women's champion. And so much love for Chris. I really like what they're doing with her. And looking forward to seeing who wins the tag team title tournament. That's very exciting. Kyle Fletcher rules.
Oh my God.
My God, he is so freaking good. And I'm very happy that they've been featuring Juice and Austin.
Yes.
On television more, because I really love the Bang Bang Gang. And I think it's really great that they're going to get a title shot opportunity against FTR. I would just keep featuring them as much as you can. If you want to put the tag belts on them, why not? Why not even do it? Like, why not? Just do it. Juice is so over. They're just so much fun. Their entrance music rules. I just really like those guys.
I gotta say, I have loved FTR as heels again with Stokely.
Yeah.
It's a match made in heaven. They are perfect for each other. FTR is cutting great promos again.
Continental Classic is always fun and memorable. Swerve being back, it makes a difference. I mean, Swerve is easily one of my favorite wrestlers ever.
Yes.
And I was sad he wasn't on Dynamite this week, but that's okay. Just, seeing him at Full Gear and then on Dynamite, and, he's all jacked up now, and with that new entrance music, and, Prince Nana's back, it's just, when Swerve is there, it just feels right. He's one of those characters now in AEW that's so pivotal to the company that when he's not there, you feel it. And not that AEW wasn't good or anything like that when he wasn't there, but I did feel it. There was something missing. So
you literally wrote to me in a DM one day and said, "I miss Swerve."
Yes.
And I was like, "Yeah, me too." And you're like, "No, it's just not the same without Swerve." And I was like, "Okay." And you're like, "No, seriously, like the product is not the same without Swerve." And you were right, because the minute he came back, it felt different.
Yeah.
It felt like AEW is more whole when Swerve is there.
He's just got this really unique look. He is so, it's weird to say, because I feel if like we were to meet him in person, he'd be such a nice guy to talk to. But I don't know if intimidating is the right word when he's on television. He's just got that really menacing look. You just don't want to screw around with Swerve, and you know that he could, he can be very dangerous. It's just, he's just this like really, I don't want to say scary. I'm trying to find the right terminology for him.
I think it's aura. He has an insane presence to him.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's been very interesting that since he's come back so far, he's appeared on, the pay-per-view and then at the Dynamite after. He wasn't here this week. He hasn't spoken.
That's true. He hasn't. Yeah.
He hasn't said a word. And I think that's kind of adding to it, where he just showed up with the chain around his neck. He's like, let's fucking do this shit. And when Hangman said in his promo, like, I'm going to be back next week and I'm going to have somebody with me, and everybody knows who he's talking about. They start the Swerve's house chants. I think it almost helped that Swerve wasn't there, because people immediately, they're like, where's Swerve? We want Swerve. It sucks for the people in the arena.
Yeah.
But for us as the viewing audience, it gets you hyped because you're like, fuck, we're going to see, and they're going to team. We're getting, I don't call them a buddy cop drama. I call them the buddy murderers, because they are fucking murdering psychopaths right now.
They really are. Yeah.
Yeah. But Hangman and Swerve as a unit, that's badass. And when they clash again in the future, because they will, probably over the title, I think it's going to be with more respect and more like, let's fuck each other up,
Definitely.
Like, let's do this shit, But you've got the two best storytellers in AEW. Those two best storytellers are Swerve and Hangman. And it's hard to see how that can be debated at this point. We're getting fantastic wrestling. Collision. We got John Moxley and Takeshita hooking up.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Give me a fucking break.
I do agree with Brett. I do enjoy hardcore wrestling, but at some point, you just want to see straight up wrestling,
On this last show, I thought having Fletcher and Mox, and then having Briscoe having O'Reilly and Mox, and then having Fletcher and Briscoe, and then the Blood and Guts the week before, and then, just felt like a lot.
It was a lot, yeah. I think that it's cool to have hardcore matches, but the thing is that, especially, like on a pay-per-view, when you have so many of them, then when the wrestlers have a regular match, the crowd is just so exhausted and not into it as much, and it does hurt. It does hurt the match, which is unfortunate. So
yeah,
I don't want them to rely so heavily on that. And also, the more risks that you take in a match, the more likely you are to get injured, of course. So it's great here and there, but it doesn't have to happen so regularly. And I definitely felt like, they were leaning on to that a little bit too much. So it's really great to just see these straight up matches where there's no blood and, nobody's dying or anything like that. I mean, even for instance, the women's tag match on Dynamite, I didn't feel it had to be a death match.
No, I did think it was good. I thought it was a fun match, and I felt they did some things in it that were different. So it didn't feel like just more of the same, but it would have had more impact had there not been a ton of hardcore matches right before it, like the last month or two. Kind of Darby and Mox have kind of carried it forward a lot, and Darby takes such crazy bumps and shit that it's like, how do you follow that? So they got to be careful with that stuff. And, it's fine, but it's like, all right, let's refocus, because honestly, at the end of the day, AEW is the best wrestling company right now. And I want to see those great wrestlers have great wrestling matches at the end of the day.
Yeah, me too. And very exciting things to come. And we'll see what happens with those women's tag belts. Absolutely.
Well, and Joshi, keep me updated, of course, and I will relay to the Sickos here when we've got some confirmation that everything's happened just as planned, which of course it will. I'm going to miss you tremendously. I have already missed you tremendously. You know how much I love you and Joshi J both, and how happy I am for you both that you're able to bring this life into the world. Joshi B, who maybe, one day will take over this podcast from the two of us. Who knows?
It's a possibility. Yeah.
It's a possibility, not that I'm here trying to breed him into it or anything, because I definitely am. Joshi B, call me. Joshi, best of luck to you with this whole thing. We'll be in touch. And next week's going to be very exciting. I'm so excited for you. Thank you. Thank you for everything you've done for the community. And we'll see you back real soon.
You're welcome. Thank you for all the support. I'll miss you. I'll miss everybody. But I will be back. And during my absence, please keep tuning into the podcast and keep supporting Uncle Don Callis.
We will have a rotating cast of guest hosts. And speaking of which, coming up next, Neon Ghost and I are going to discuss AEW, and then we're going to move on to discuss all the crazy ass happenings of Final Battle. All right, we are back. So we say sayonara bye-bye to Joshi G. For the time being, she will, of course, be back, and we'll be very excited to have her back. But right now, I am very excited to have my guest host this week. The one, the only, the man that you cannot see. I'm not even sure he's a man because I've never seen him, because he's not a corporeal being. Neon Ghost, welcome to Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out. You've been on the show before, but it's been a long time.
Hola, mis amigo.
Yes.
Donde es mi pantalones blanco?
Yes, if I spoke Romanian, I would know exactly what you just said.
That's right.
But, the people may not know that we are founding members of Sickos Club, just like Joshi G and Brett Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
You are often the brains behind the operation and kind of like saying like, hey, guys, here's where our financial situation is. We're like, like we should probably meet. Do shit like that, like
I do take care of a lot of the back end stuff, but you do. Yeah, we all share a lot of equal creative responsibilities. So it's been a long time. It's long overdue. I wanted to make sure everybody else got a chance to be on the show, before I'm like, me, put me on.
Brett one time was like, I haven't been on Sit Down, Shut Up forever. Like, why don't you ever ask me? And I'm like, because we do another show together. Like, It didn't even occur to me that you would want to be on the show. But I think it's the same thing. Like, we just work together on so many things I don't even think to ask, and then it's like,
exactly,
I should ask Ghost. Like, we haven't talked wrestling in a long time.
Yeah, for sure. I'm also deeply insecure, and oftentimes I don't think anybody should ever have to hear my voice. So here we are.
Hey, here we are, and I differ with you on that opinion.
Oh,
and no, very glad to have you here as our first guest host in this weird era of Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out.
Very weird. I'm going to miss Gina. I hope Joshi G comes back soon.
Yep.
And we love her.
She'll be back. She'll be back strong. Joshi G, Joshi J, Joshi B. They're going to be doing great.
Joshi B for Joshi Baby.
Yeah, that's right. Joshi Baby. We're excited for him. But you know what also I'm excited for is pro wrestling is doing really well right now.
It's so hot.
So fucking hot.
Fucking hot.
And Dynamite had some pretty hot moments this week.
It did, indeed.
And one of them, this promo battle between Samoa Joe and Eddie Kingston. Eddie cut one of those classic Eddie promos on Collision before Dynamite.
Right.
Where it's like, God damn it, we're like going to be talking about that promo years from now,
Yeah.
Like the one he did with Punk, where it's like we keep going back to it,
I hate to compare it because, first let me preface this with, this is like how much I love AEW, because I don't like to go online and say when I'm having a negative reaction to things. I was a tad bit, not all the way, but just a tad bit disappointed in the promo battle between Eddie and Joe. I thought I was expecting them to go a little bit harder on each other, be dropping vitriolic bombs left and right, and I felt they were a little bit soft. They were both very solid promos. They said what they needed to say. Eddie is a gas. He's like, I know the people want to watch wrestling, so I'm going to go back to the hotel and sleep. I was like, classic Eddie Kingston.
Yep. Eddie's going
making
to sleep.
The facial expressions, I love that and everything. But it was very much like, oh, you're a tough guy who's accomplished a lot, and I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah, well, it was kind of like Joe was insulting the audience, but not Eddie that much. It was kind of the same line of attack everybody's used with Eddie, where it's like you don't win the big one. Except now he's been like the ROH champion. He's, he won the C2, the first one.
Yeah, you can't really say he doesn't get the job done anymore.
Yeah. But I feel they have generated a good amount of interest in a match that was announced a week and a half ago,
Oh, absolutely.
So like, I went back and I watched it again, knowing what was said and not expecting this bombastic firebomb promo. Because I agree, this one wasn't as nuclear as the one Eddie cut on Collision,
Right. Or with Punk,
this one was
like Punk and Max,
right.
I guess I was expecting that a little bit, and it didn't have to be, but again, back to the point of him saying, like, I'm going to cut this short because I know you people want to watch wrestling. And that's a complaint I see a lot from people is that, I don't want the show to start off with talking. Like, let's get right into the action. And I really appreciated that from him.
Well, yeah. And I think that AEW, in a couple different instances in this episode, really spoke for the fans through some of the wrestlers. And there is one particularly where I almost took personal offense to it. Fuck you, Don Callis. Yeah. So, basically he says, look, if you bring this sellout jet flying Samoa Joe, I'm going to own you. I'm going to eat you up. And watching it the second time, I was like, it is an effective promo to like kind of get you geared up for the match, because the match is literally next week. It's not at a pay-per-view.
Right.
I've seen a few people float the idea that maybe Eddie could win the world title and then hold it till like just World's End,
Okay, so if Eddie wins, like, I will jump out of my chair and fucking scream to the heavens. I will cry. I will probably throw up. And I would have said no way in hell that happens, and I'm still leaning that way. But I did not expect Joe to beat Hangman. That shit came out of left field, and I was like so shocked for 24 hours because I didn't watch it when everyone else did. I was like a whole 12 hours off. So, and I saw everybody's reactions online between anger and sadness, and I was like, I'm just fucking shocked, you guys. And then like a day later, I was like, okay, now I'm a little sad, but still excited for the future. So thinking about that, and then Eddie challenges, and I'm like, okay, literally anything can happen now. Eddie could win this title, and that would be insane.
Well, and I think Tony has done a really great job the last year and a half of just kind of making the product feel like anything could happen. But whatever direction they go in doesn't feel random. And it's not I didn't get a chance to, but I did want to thank you for not being Professor Degree. And we have pretty standoffish mutual hatred of each other.
Right.
But I have to begrudgingly give him a little bit of credit because
a little bit.
Yeah, he talked about, it's not like Russo booking where it's like a swerve for the sake of a swerve. It's like there's an intention to the swerve, and so Hangman. Yeah, and I think people were sad and upset. I was sad that Hangman lost the title, and sometimes wrestling makes you sad. It's supposed to challenge you as a viewer.
Exactly.
And because we didn't get a resolution immediately, I mean, they did give a swerve immediately after, but and kind of tease that they would be in partnership. But I do think that this is my guess, and I've been wrong so many times now that I don't I'm not expecting this to happen. I don't know what the fuck is going to happen anymore.
Right.
But the Ops somehow screws Eddie, and it becomes Hangman, Swerve, and Eddie trying to take down the Ops together. They've got to kill the relationship between Eddie and Hook.
Yeah.
Fully cement Hook as like a remorseless bastard that you shouldn't feel bad for.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people want to boo Hook, and they're having a good time doing it. But
yeah, I can absolutely see that happening. And to your point, and credit to Tony Khan in his booking, like for years, other promotions, WWE, TNA, shit is so predictable. You can call it a mile away, whether it's go home math, as like Going in Raw like to call it, things like that.
Right.
Like I just don't know anymore. If I really think about it, I'm like, I have no idea what's going to happen next. And I like that. I love it.
When we started doing this podcast, one of the common complaints about AEW was that it was predictable, and that, and we would say like, well, just because it's predictable doesn't mean it's bad.
Right.
Which I would stand by today. Like, I still agree with that.
Yeah.
But Tony Khan clearly wasn't okay with that. Because he has really flipped conventional logic on its head many, many times. And he even did it in this episode, which we'll get to in a little bit. But, it's not surprising to me that Mox and Eddie are friends. I think it makes perfect sense because they clearly come at wrestling from kind of a similar place. And speaking of Mox, the downfall of Jon Moxley continues.
Yes.
How are you feeling about it? Where it is right now?
Well, I wanted to ask you if you had seen the backstage promo segment that they did right after he lost to Claudio, because that almost threw the whole theory out the window that they're going to turn on him or that the Death Riders are crumbling. I have no doubt that will happen in some way, shape, or form, but they're just like, Claudio walks back into a stairwell, and there's Marina and Pac and Mox, and they're just doing push-ups in this syncopated order. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And then he just joins them. I'm like, these guys are psycho. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then Mox cuts another God tier S level promo. Like, holy shit.
The guy has moved into this whole nother stratosphere as a character, in my opinion. He is... Moxley is one of the best promos I've ever seen.
Ever.
It's really wild to say that.
Yeah.
Because and it goes all the way back to the very beginning of AEW. Like I always liked him as Dean Ambrose. He was always my favorite guy in the Shield, but also really just generally as a full-timer in WWE. He was my favorite because I felt like he had the most potential beyond where he already was. But I never had him pegged for this.
Yeah, he was certainly the most interesting member of the Shield. I always thought, like, what's going on with that guy? Like Seth had no personality back then.
Right.
They literally had to force one on him.
Right.
Roman had the big tank aesthetic and aura. He didn't really need a personality. So you got Dean Ambrose, and you're like, this dude is a psychopath.
Right. And I just felt like, the stories that they give him, the scripts that they gave him couldn't even scratch the surface of what the guy could have done. But I had no idea it would get to this level.
Yeah, God.
As big a fan as I am of dunking on Phil Brooks, by the way, R.I.P. Larry. I am not dunking on Phil Brooks this week. In memoriam of Larry, and
fair enough.
That was very sad loss for them.
It didn't hit me until I saw the picture of Brody King holding Larry, and then I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because you like everybody in the picture, so you're like, yeah, that's sad.
Exactly.
So R.I.P. Larry, an icon of pro wrestling pets for sure.
Yes. Real quick, what do you think about Mox and the Death Rider situation? Like, where do you think it's going?
So I feel like I was getting a bit annoyed with the whole thing for a while. I thought Darby was going to end the Death Riders,
right?
But again, I made a decision about what was going to happen, and I was kind of like, okay, okay, the I Quit match has to be the end of it. Okay,
right.
Now we're going to, Full Gear. Okay, now we're going to, Kyle O'Reilly beat him. Now we're going to, how much further can this go?
Right.
And so I think it's definitely still happening. I did see the video you're talking about, and somebody pointed out something that I thought was really interesting, which is the look on Pac's face. In that video. He stops doing push-ups for a second when Claudio walks in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Claudio starts doing push-ups, he starts doing push-ups again.
Right.
And so I think the story has shifted from, are the Death Riders going to turn on Mox, to how are the Death Riders going to turn on Mox? Who's going to lead it? Is anybody else besides Mox going to leave? There's been a pretty consistent reaction from Marina that she looks just heartbroken a lot of the time. And she is doing such a great job with the acting in all of this.
Yeah.
Because she's a badass, but you can clearly see that she feels very close to John. And they've done such a great job of showing them having a mutual respect for each other without, just like a man and a woman can have a normal friendship.
Right. Even a violent one where they slap each other around for motivation.
Yeah, exactly. But there's nothing more to it than that, No. And so now, the question becomes, will Marina lead the Death Riders? Will Marina turn on Mox? I think she will. I think that's where the swerve in all of this really is like Marina doesn't look like she wants to,
right?
But she will be the one.
I wonder if they're going to have to if even, another swerve into this, if Moxley might have to be the one to force their hand. Because, there's another thing in there where Mox was listing off, he said, if Pac wins, we all win. If Claudio wins, we all win. And then Claudio just kind of softly chimes in, if John Moxley wins, we all win. And Mox just, scoffed at that. He was like, he's like, I don't want to win. It's like, he wants to find the guy that's worthy of beating him, that's, going to earn his place in his new AEW, the way he envisions this new world. So he might have to, say, fuck you guys, and shove him in the face and be like, yeah, hit me, turn on me, And some of them are very dedicated to him. It might be a crying moment like Wheeler Yuta having to make that decision on Bryan Danielson.
Right. No, and you could be totally right about that. I hadn't thought about that, but
right? It could go any way.
Mox was on commentary for Ring of Honor for a little bit, and I love when he's on commentary. He's so interesting. And
funny.
He's so funny. And he never reacts the way you expect him to anything.
Yeah.
And Caprice Coleman, he broke Caprice Coleman 14 times in 2 matches. Because he's fucking such a dynamic, interesting thinker. You know what I mean? But he never talked about Claudio the entire time. He never talked about it. They tried to talk to him about him, and he said, we're not here to talk about me right now.
Right.
So Moxley's, it's like, what's going on here? But something's going on.
Yeah.
And so they have figured out a way to get the most impact out of this, I think.
Yeah.
And display the personalities where these personalities are right now of Pac and Claudio and Daniel Garcia, who I think is kind of the one who probably most still sides with Moxley outside of Marina. And generally, Mox only accompanies Daniel Garcia and Marina. He doesn't accompany anybody else.
Right.
Most of them come out with Pac or Claudio.
Yeah.
So I find it very interesting. I think whatever happens, and whenever it happens, I'm expecting Full Gear, World's End, but who fucking knows at this point?
Yeah. Whole lot of interesting facial expressions, It's like seeing the eyes of people, how they're looking at him, whether it's Danny Garcia, Pac. My God, that man could stare. Machine guns loaded with daggers.
Yes. And the way they've rebranded Pac, and he's rebranded himself, kind of, I have loved.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about Pac with a great match he had on Dynamite. But this was a huge signature win for Claudio in the C2. This is probably his biggest televised win ever.
Yeah.
Ever. In any company. He beat the guy who was just the world champion.
Right. And Danielson had a good remark about that. He was never able to beat Jon Moxley.
Yep.
In any of their matches in AEW. And he throws that fact out there, and he's like, and Claudio just beat Jon Moxley. Like, oh, shit. And that's why they viewed him as the leader, because he couldn't beat him.
Yes. I thought that was maybe a revealing comment.
Mm-hmm. Danielson stirring the pot.
Yeah, well, Danielson's stirring the pot and saying, like, hey, I couldn't beat him. That's why we called John the leader.
Mm-hmm.
But Claudio just beat him. So what does that mean? Is that foreshadowing? What I love about this entire thing is that all these guys are so unselfish about this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Mox, it's very common for a guy to drop the belt and then start putting people over. Like that
right.
is just the nature of wrestling. We've seen it a million times, right?
Yeah.
Like you were on this god tier run for a year and now you're going to put people over for the next 3 months. You're going to lose some feuds, that kind of thing. But Mox is putting literally everyone over. Everyone. And I'm going to do it all in like 2 months,
To the point the conspiracy theorists are like, oh my God, he must be on his way out of AEW because he's literally putting over everyone.
Right. But I think this is like his plan and his design. Like I really do believe this was his plan for a long time. And he's doing it selflessly. And on commentary, he is so giving. He's putting everybody over who's facing the Death Riders.
Right.
I loved his commentary about MXM. I'm not going to lie. I like these guys a lot.
Yeah. It's like, they know who they are. I dig it. I respect it.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. And he's adding a lot to the product. And when the guy packs it in and retires, hopefully a long time from now,
mm-hmm.
I'd love to hear him on commentary regularly.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He's great.
I have to wonder if he's jealous of Bryan Danielson on that regard, and that's why he's been sitting on commentary lately. He's like, oh, Bryan's doing this thing. I kind of want to do that now, too.
And I can't help but wonder if this, and based on just my own speculation, I have no reason to think this is true, but I really wonder if Moxley is actually ceding the main event to others now and saying, this doesn't belong to me anymore.
Right.
This is for others now.
I could see that.
It almost feels like kind of the story they're telling. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I raised you all up. Now take it from me,
Right.
Whether it's Hangman, obviously,
mm-hmm.
Swerve, Kyle O'Reilly,
Cassidy, Darby Allin. Yeah.
Right.
You've been prepping all these guys for that main event scene,
100%. 100%. And by making Moxley look so strong up to this point, they make all of these wins so huge for everybody who gets them.
Right.
So, we have another person we're going to be talking about that with, that people love to fucking hate on because they think she books herself for some reason. But we'll talk more about that. But this was a huge, huge moment for Claudio, and I'm very happy for him to get that recognition as a performer,
And that was one of those things, maybe a genius match being booked, because I think we all expected them to get mad at each other and to take it personally. Mm-hmm. And like even at points in the match, it kind of was from a competitive standpoint. And I won't dwell too longer on this, but like I just saw a picture today because there's moments I commonly miss if I'm looking down at my phone for a second, where I guess Moxley was flipping off Claudio while he was doing the big swing. And there's a still of that, and I'm like, God, that is just fucking beautiful. But they still, were very much brotherly, loved and respect each other after the match.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't tell when it was booked which way it was going to go. Like, it could have gone either way and have been fine, like Moxley proving he's still the guy, or Claudio wins, and it's like, oh, well, that's interesting. That puts a lot of things into flux now, so.
But keep it in line with the C2. We had what I considered the best match of the C2 matches on Dynamite.
Yes.
So exciting. Kevin Knight versus Kyle Fletcher. And I knew this was going to be great. Neither one of these guys has missable matches ever.
Right.
Fletcher, in many ways, and maybe it's because he hasn't been winning that I think it's easier to overlook, but like go back to All Out. Watch the match him and Hangman had. 38 minutes or whatever it was. Straight wrestling match. Mm-hmm. It's one of Hangman's best matches in AEW.
Yeah.
You know? And Fletcher is so fucking great.
Oh, dude, he's so good.
But Kevin Knight, this guy isn't just a freak athlete who does flippy shit.
Right.
This guy is a next level wrestler. Mm-hmm. He is fucking fantastic.
You know,
and the chemistry between these two was insane.
When they first brought him in, you know, I didn't know a whole lot about Kevin Knight. I had not seen a lot of his matches, but like just the way that he took to AEW specifically so easily, like, my God, like it won me over instantly. And I'm watching him and I'm like, this is like exactly what I fell in love with AEW from the beginning, from the first show. You know, just and maybe it is, you know, a lot of the flippy shit, the high flying aerial moves, but really explosive, bombastic. This match with him and Kyle Fletcher was like 100 miles per hour, and it just didn't fucking quit. No give. And these guys, they took it to each other just like Kevin Knight did last week with Darby Allin. And that shit was insane. Like, he beat the fuck out of Darby. And it's like, you might think because of their size differences, you know, that would be a given, but like, nah, talking in terms of like wrestling skill and how good he is, like, he just took it to that guy. I don't think Darby was expecting that out of him.
Well, and you know, Darby legit did get hurt in that match, unfortunately. And so as we tape this, Collision is not aired, but they have promised to announce Darby's status for the rest of the tournament. There is a real concern that they may have to either replace him or forfeit his matches, which would suck. But he was actually hospitalized after that match, but he was able to travel. Right. So
that's a hopeful sign.
That's a hopeful sign. Yeah, and I'm sure Darby will want to come back, but you know, sometimes you got to put the clamp down. Yes. And this guy has put his body through fucking hell.
I almost have to wonder, do you think the C2 might kind of be cursed? Because, like, we had this happen last year. Juice started out really strong, and then he got injured. And luckily that was early in the tournament, you know, where they replaced him with Commander, I believe. But, man, it's just unfortunate timing.
Darby's only had one match, too. And also, Kyle O'Reilly was supposed to be in the C2.
Right.
And that's why Roderick Strong's there.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah, there was a lot of different factors to all of it, but Kyle Fletcher gets this win over Kevin Knight by the skin of his teeth. I would say that Kevin Knight in 2 matches has started on the Kyle Fletcher 2024 C2 trajectory of huge potential sometime. He's gone from like, this guy will be a big deal someday to he might be main eventing All In 2027. Yeah. You know, like
I could see that.
He's on that kind of path. I was lucky enough to see him tag team with Kushida versus the Bollywood Boys at an indie show here in Seattle, at a Defy show, and he was a lot more raw than he is right now, but the raw physical gifts he had, he's not a small guy.
Right.
Like, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
And the vertical leaps were insane.
It is insane. And like you said, Fletcher just barely won this match. The whole time I was like, this could go literally either way. And I was not mad at that result at all. No. But there was something somebody said, probably on Threads, maybe a sentiment I've seen a lot where people are saying like, oh, these guys are the future of pro wrestling or AEW. And I was just like, no, these guys are the present. Like, they're doing it right fucking now. You know, it may not be for the world title if that's what they mean by the future, but like, Kyle Fletcher, my God, he has come leaps and bounds since even as a tag team with Mark Davis. Like, I knew he was amazing, but he seems like, in my mind, he's gone from being a scrawny kid to growing up to being a full man who can hang with the likes of Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, you know, and he's time is the only thing in his way from being one of the all-time greats, you know?
If he were to main event versus Ospreay at All In this year. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. He's leading the Gold League. He's 6 points. He's the only undefeated guy, I believe, still left in the Gold League.
Yeah.
And both of these guys, Kevin Knight and Kyle Fletcher, have had incredible C2 matches. Fletcher has faced Okada and Kevin Knight. Mm-hmm. Kevin Knight has faced Fletcher and Darby, and all of the matches have been incredible. I can't wait to see what they do going forward.
Yeah.
And then the last C2 match we had was Kazuchika Okada versus Pac.
Yeah, speaking of Okada.
Good Lord. Now, this is one of those wrestling internet IQ test matches. Mm-hmm. How is this person smart? You can tell by the way they respond to a match like this. So recently, I regrettably rejoined X/Twitter. I'll always call it Twitter. I know. I deserve it. I deserve your scorn. I want to expand our audience. Unfortunately, a lot of the wrestlers and the wrestling promotions are still there.
Yes.
And I want to start getting in more touch because I want to bring you guys more interviews, more perspectives from the industry itself. I've had such a good time talking to authors, doctors, all these people who have been involved in the industry, and I want to do more of that. But to do that, I kind of have to be there, unfortunately.
That's true.
And so that's hopefully not going to be the case forever. And as soon as it's not, I will get the fuck off. But this match was definitely one of those IQ test matches. Mm-hmm. So I happened to check in on X after this match. The story of this match was very simple. Pac dominated the entire match. He threw everything at Okada. And Okada was actually overmatched for the majority of the time.
Yeah.
He was just very sneaky and snuck a win out. That was the whole point of the match. Give the entire offense to Pac, pretty much.
Yeah.
And have Okada sneak out with the win.
Okada is very cerebral, if I can use that word like that.
Yeah.
Very measured. And maybe that's the key to his longevity, because he is as tough as nails, and maybe not like the most explosive guy, like one of his greatest rivals in Kenny Omega, but like he waits till his opponent makes just one slight mistake or there's a tiny opening, and he will exploit the shit out of it. Like Pac had that match won. It was his match to lose, and Okada just simply rolled him up from his own move and for the 3 count, insane.
And Pac knew it.
Mm-hmm.
Pac didn't look like he got ripped off. Pac was like, fuck, he got me. And it was a great match. I love, like I was saying earlier, I love this rebrand of Pac as more of a ground-based sadist. Mm-hmm. Technical submission power guy.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Like him and Claudio would be an incredible tag team.
Yeah.
As well.
Well, like that move, that running clothesline where he's going back and forth on the ropes, building up steam.
Right.
It's just brutal. There's no way to soft land that lariat at the end of it. He just plows right through guys. And even Okada took that, but then there was a move where Pac was trying to do a shotgun drop kick from the top rope, and then Okada just sidesteps it and basically throws him down. And it was brilliant,
Well, and everything Pac tried to do off the top rope failed, essentially. The stuff that he used to do all the time. It was the first time I've seen him try the Black Arrow, I think, since he's been back.
Right.
And he got the knees, He managed to kick out of a cradle, but it was when he tried to do the brutalizer, and Okada's just very smart, saw the opportunity at hand and rolled him up in that move, and pinned him.
He's a sneaky little shit, Okada.
I go on X after this match.
Yes, tell me.
And I literally saw somebody say, Pac bodied Okada in that match. He made him look ordinary.
Oh, please.
I'm like, you are talking about Kazuchika fucking Okada.
Kazuchika motherfucking Okada.
Who the fuck are you? This is the dumbest shit you could possibly say. And then I saw other people saying it.
Oh, my goodness.
And it's like, guys, look. You are being worked right now. You saw the story that they told, which is Pac had him.
Yeah.
And Okada just snuck out of there with the win.
Exactly.
That's what they wanted you to think. Like, and you think that Okada's not a good wrestler compared to Pac?
I'm like, okay, if say that did happen, like, isn't Pac probably the guy you want to make Okada look like a bitch, to look ordinary? Like,
right. Absolutely.
The dude is insane.
Well, there's clearly some kind of plan for Pac. You know, they didn't want to make Pac look like a pushover in losing.
Exactly.
And
very strong.
They made him look extremely strong, but he still lost, you know? I mean, I'm fine with it. Yeah. I thought it was a great match with great storytelling, and this is one of those examples of telling a match through sheer physicality and nothing else.
Yeah.
You know? And I got the story very easily. It's apparently it's too hard for some people on
X, formerly known as Twitter.
Yes. I hate how they have to put that.
It's like legal now. Everybody has to say that.
It clearly is a legal thing where they have to say X, formerly known as Twitter, in parentheses.
Also, I don't know if you know this, but I have managed, if nothing else, this is a testament to how entertaining AEW is. I've managed to turn my mother into a wrestling fan, and by
fantastic
fucking, you know, sheer happenstance, by proximity, now I've got my dad into it.
Nice.
So, but me and my mom were watching that match with Okada and Pac, and she very correctly points out that, you know, Okada is very like reserved and measured. He picks his spots, and she started to say it as opposed to Pac, who was like ... question mark. And I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, actually, he's kind of the same way too. You know, like he is an assassin in there. Like he will pick you apart and wait for the right moment. So that was an interesting dynamic between those two, and how they pulled that off. And yeah, like Okada proves that it's not all about muscles and bronze, you know, like he's got the brain to beat most of these guys.
Yes, he does. And he is, both these guys, you know, in-ring IQ is just off the charts for both of them. And Pac does everything so precisely. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. You know, Kenny Omega was talking about him one time, and he's like, I think Pac is the most like precision-based wrestler I've ever. He does everything perfectly. I can
see that.
Like,
it takes like there's nothing to measure, and then just perfect execution.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter if it's like an arm drag or a headlock or anything. Everything is exactly like the way somebody would teach you to do it. And that he's just like kind of a killer in that way. And so hopefully, you know, I mean, we're going to see a lot more great C2 matches, but these on Dynamite were absolutely exceptional.
Definitely.
But we moved in a big direction from, you know, the purity of these matches. We moved to the Holiday Hardcore Death match between the Timeless Love Bombs and the Mega Problems. Don't know if I love that name.
Yeah, not sold out.
Yeah, I liked Mega Bad.
Yeah.
You know, a lot better. And I was very torn on this match because part of me was like, okay, well, again, conventional wrestling logic would tell you that Mega Problems would win because the Babes of Wrath have already advanced to the finals. Right. And that contrast makes, you know, for great television, right? Is, you know, the big horrible heels versus the lovable baby faces.
The white hot baby faces.
Right. But Timeless Love Bombs have a bit of an edge to them, especially since Tony dropped the belt and especially since War Games. There's been a bit more of an edge to Tony Storm.
And a little bit of a mean streak, yeah.
A bit of a mean streak, yes, exactly. And I really liked, this was a very good plunder match with some great fake out endings. But what really stood out to me is the aggression from Tony, and I think calling it aggression is too slight. I think you said it best, mean streak. Loved the mean streak from Tony, not selling fear to either Bane or Shafir, because most people do.
Oh, yeah. If the two of them were surrounding me, I would shit my pants.
Yes, exactly. That's the normal reaction that anyone should have. You know, I think Joey Janela, who dates Megan Bain, probably shits his pants a few times a week. Just by he forgets. He turns around. He's like, "Dear God." But this was the perfect match for them to have, because in the end, Timeless Love Bomb's got a surprising win here. Making the final very interesting, right? Because it's setting up the Timeless Love Bombs versus the Babes of Wrath. And that is a very interesting matchup, and I am very intrigued by it personally.
Yeah. It seems to be the $1 million question. I posted that on Threads, and today I woke up to a response from AEW's account themselves saying, like, either way, it's going to be a fun match. And it's like, well, yeah, duh. But because I'm absolutely torn. I love Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron. Absolutely adore them. And of course, if you don't like Toni Storm, then you're just wrong.
There's something wrong.
I don't try to be tribal like that, but my God, it's true. She's on a whole nother level from any wrestler that's ever existed. Take the best women's wrestler in the world, and like Toni Storm is just still platforms above them, in my opinion. But yeah, so
she is absolutely incredible in every way, and Mina,
So it becomes this question of like, the Timeless Love Bombs, I think from maybe a marketing business position or how they're presenting their elite wrestlers, they make sense to be the first tag champs. But everybody loves Willow and Harley, and that feels like the feel-good story, the lovable baby faces that persevered, that were able to pull it off. So it's another one of those instances. I have no idea which way it's going to go. I'm leaning Timeless Love Bombs, but it could literally be either one of them. It's anybody's game at this point.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think there's very good arguments to be made for both. What I wonder is Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron are the whitest meat of the white meat baby faces that AEW has in the women's division. Like, they're beloved.
Yes.
They bring good vibes to everything they do. Is that mean streak going to play a factor?
Ooh.
Is Toni going to be maybe a little edgier?
Right. I could see
going forward, maybe a bit more of a tweener than a straight up baby face,
kind of becoming devil's advocate in the match to push them.
Right. To push them, to push Mina to be a little more brutal, because Mina's shown that she can do that.
Oh, especially in this match.
Right. And these guys beat the shit out of each other. We got an incredible return in this match.
Yes.
A big ass Santa Claus ran down to the ring. And yeah, it's not Santa Claus. Everybody knows who this is when he shows up. I did. I certainly knew who it was. I mean, I'm like, that's fucking Luther. Yeah. That's fucking Luther. And he's running down with a gift. This was so funny. And he presents the gift to Marina. And Marina grabs the gift, and the box implodes, and it's just Luther flipping her off.
They almost botched that, but he's like trying to stick his hand up through it to give her the finger, and I'm like, wait, is he holding her the gift? Because they're struggling over it for a second there.
Yeah, but they worked it out. The intent came through.
Yeah.
And what a perfectly Luther move.
The way he shakes his hand, too, he's like, fuck you.
Yep. No, it was so good. It was so funny. And, Marina's kind of shocked, and she turns around, and Luther throws Toni a shoe. And Toni spikes Marina with it the way that Mariah May spiked her with it. And then pins her with the big package. This is the way you beat a team like the Mega Problems, right? Like, it didn't make them look bad that they lost. Like,
I did think at first that, like, maybe they're doing the death matches a little too often now, and maybe they should dial it back a bit to make it more of a special thing. But it makes sense that, if we have plunder and we're using weapons, you get a little bit more of a believable win over a team like the Mega Problems, because, my God, those are two imposing women who will kick the shit out of you. Any woman, any man. Yeah. So there was a lot of things. At first, this match wasn't totally hitting for me, but there was a lot of great parts in it when they had the candy cane, which you couldn't tell at first, but was wrapped with barbed wire. When they hooked that, I think, around Marina's mouth, using the hook part of it, it was just like, my God, that was brutal.
Yeah.
And then they smashed it over somebody. I think poor Mina. It would have broken to pieces. Like, that looked painful.
Yes. No, there was some great spots in the match. It took a minute for this to get going for me, but when it got going, it was very fun. And I would say that, one, Joshi and I, before we threw over here to you and I, we were just talking about this very same thing. Brett, Michelle, and I were talking about the same thing on the Full Gear review, is they've really leaned kind of too hard, I think, into hardcore over the last 2-3 months. And I think this match would have had a lot more impact if we hadn't seen so much of this kind of stuff.
Right.
And that's maybe why it took a while to really get going for me, is there needed to be a unique premise to it.
Yes.
And it took a minute to get there. I mean, we're to that point where we're kind of neutralized to the effect of like, ooh, that's barbed wire.
Right.
And so I think AEW would be wise, with the Continental Classic going on, there isn't a lot of hardcore stuff going on. That's a very good thing.
Yeah.
And I think it would be nice if they laid off it for a while.
Yeah. To what I was saying earlier about this not being like the best episode of Dynamite, I had to wonder to myself if that's because we've just been so spoiled. Like, every TV show and the last couple pay-per-views have just been knocking it out of the park. So something that even just seems a little bit less than that, it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe I've just been spoiled on such good shit that, maybe this didn't, hit 100% home run for me, but it's fine. It's whatever.
Right. It was a triple, and that happens sometimes. Some quick notes before we move on to other things. The Dark Order was on TV this week facing the Ops. They bumped into Hangman backstage. He was walking around with a chain around his neck. They said, hey, please don't get involved with this until after the match. And Hangman agreed. He said he owed him at least that much. Maybe this will be a way to repair some of that undeveloped story with Hangman from last 3 years ago.
Right.
And then the Ops killed the Dark Order.
They murdered them.
As we kind of suspected they would do. Hangman made a save and challenged the Ops, said that he would be coming back next week. He wasn't talking about himself. He was clearly referring to Swerve.
Yeah, he said, who's coming. I would get your affairs in order. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, you're going to be dead.
Can I real quick just comment on how Swerve and Hangman feels like two absolute titans? The idea of them teaming together feels like the most dangerous thing in all of wrestling. Like, who in their right minds would want to go against those guys?
Well, we were making the joke earlier this year of because there was a feeling amongst a lot of us, I think, that Ospreay was going to beat Hangman at Double or Nothing and face Moxley. And we were talking about it would be cool if Swerve and Hangman did a buddy cop kind of thing to face the Young Bucks. But now I'm like, it can't be buddy cop. Now it's like buddy murderer,
it's like bad cop and bad cop.
Yeah, bad cop and bad cop. It's just like, buddy, don't give a fuck, but again, Hangman's barely talking. Swerve hasn't said a fucking word.
That still blows my mind.
Yeah, and they're just relying completely on presence, and they have it in spades.
In spades.
And so Swerve and Hangman are literally teaming next week somehow. So we'll see how that lines up. Another thing involving the Callis family this week was them calling out the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
And the Bucks coming out to fight.
Slutty Matt Jackson, my God.
Slutty.
And those slutty jeans, he must have got those out of Kenny's bag.
Yeah. Oh my God. No, they look like full-blown sluts on this episode. Matt particularly, because he came out without the shirt. I do know some people who would say Nick's the real hottie of this group.
Yes.
It's not for me to debate. They're both very good-looking men.
Yeah. Matt is definitely baby girl, as he has been correctly termed.
Yes. No, Matt is baby girl. That is for sure. But they run out to the ring to start brawling with because they want the money. Mm-hmm. The Callis family had the money.
Give me the money, man.
Yeah, and so they run out and they start brawling with Josh Alexander and can't remember who else was out there at the time. They get beat down. Then Jurassic Express runs in to make the save. They get beat down.
Jackie bit my finger.
Yes. Whose finger did he bite again?
Okada's middle finger.
Okada's, that's right. Okada flipped him off and Jack bit his finger.
Which looks so satisfying because, like, nothing against Okada, but I wonder how that would be. I would like to just chomp down as hard as I could on that finger.
You'd like to bite Okada.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't mind biting Okada.
Super jealous of Jack Perry once again.
Yes, living everyone's dream. And you know, then the music hit. Kenny Omega runs down to the ring wearing his signature Christmas sweater.
Yes.
And helps clear the ring. I have one critique of this entire thing. Okada officially turning on the Bucks could have felt like a bigger deal, I think.
Right. They could have stretched that moment out a little bit more because they could have made it he had a face-off
a little more
with
dramatic.
Nick Jackson, and somebody was saying, you know, he's probably not going to let him try on his clothes anymore. But I was like, yeah, because Okada and the Bucks, they go back, you know, and they could have really stretched that out the way they did with Jack Perry and the Bucks. But
yeah,
I was proud of Kenny for coming out and actually wearing his merch. That's one thing. If I had a critique, I would say more AEW guys and girls need to do is, like, if you got merch, you need to show it off a little bit more, you know? So often they just run out there wearing gym shorts and stuff, and it's like, okay, on, you know? But he comes out wearing that ugly Christmas sweater, and I was like, yeah, Kenny.
Yeah. Well, I think they're trying to be more realism based, you know, or whatever, but, like, also market your shit, you know? Like, find a balance.
Yeah,
find a balance. I get the point of realism, but find a balance.
Definitely.
But, like, so yeah, Kenny runs out, helps clear the ring. I felt like, Okada basically ran in the ring. There's a brief moment of pause between the Bucks and him, and then he flips them off and starts kicking their ass. And I just felt like the announcers didn't sell it. Like, the shock of it should have felt more shocking, I think.
Yeah, and Okada, like, he jumped on the Don Callis bandwagon so easily instead of, like, having any real loyalty to the Bucks. You know, and he was just like, come on, guys, join us. You know you want to. And they really struggled with it. You know, I would have liked to see a little more struggle from him, but I guess maybe he's just a sociopath, so it's all good.
Well, I think that's kind of what the portrait they're painting of Okada is. Like, he's a manipulative sociopath, and he just wants to go with whoever's going to make it easiest on him for me to be the greatest, you know? So that's it for Dynamite. We have some Final Battle highlights to go over when we come back, Ghost, because ROH Final Battle was one for the ages, I gotta say.
It was amazing.
ROH Final Battle was announced on a very short timeline. These shows often are. I have to confess, I am not always able to watch weekly Ring of Honor shows as they happen. And sometimes I have to watch like 3 in a row to catch up or whatever. And I do make the effort to do that. But I will say that up until about 6 months ago, I would be doing other shit while that was happening.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like kind of watch it in the background, you know?
Understandable.
But Ring of Honor, by and large, is starting to feel like something you need to pay more attention to.
Oh, yeah. I would say their pay-per-views don't miss, you know.
They don't miss,
I think one of the titles of one of my blogs was the best match on WrestleMania weekend a couple of years ago was in ROH, and that was with Eddie Kingston and Mark Briscoe.
It was so good.
But yeah, and it didn't help that they had fucking 3 episodes this week. You had a special Tuesday episode, the regular Thursday, and then the pay-per-view on Friday. I was running late as hell. I completely missed the 0 hour stuff, but I was able to start when the show did, and it was incredible, top to bottom.
It was. And we're going to talk about some specific stuff from this show, but everything was good.
Yes.
Everything was very good. The 0 hour is very good. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was a lot of fun shit that happened on this show. In particular, so Joshi G said to me today that she thought the women had the best matches of the night. I agree. Mm-hmm. There were 2 that in particular that I felt were just outstanding. Mm-hmm. Even if I was actually like Mark pissed off at the end of the show. And we will explain why. But the first match that really jumped off the page to me was the 30-minute Iron Man match between Lee Moriarty and Nigel McGuinness. Nigel just doing the straight up British wrestling technical graps. Mm-hmm. He's so great at it.
So good.
He's still so much fun to watch.
And he still got it. My God.
Oh, and watching him not feel the need to maybe do the big impact slaps. Mm-hmm. Because, when he did that with Danielson, I got it, but he doesn't hit as hard as he used to, right. And
he might be a tad bit slower, but he's still just as good as he was in his heyday.
And this, I don't think the pure title was actually on the line in this match.
I guess it was not. I thought it was, but Tony in the scrum kept pointing out that it was not on the line. So this was just who's the best at pure wrestling, I guess.
Right, because it wasn't under pure rules. So, there was unlimited rope breaks, et cetera, et cetera. But I felt like the way this was set up was really well done. Nigel walks out wearing his pure title that he had originally held.
See, I was confused because I didn't even get through half of the Thursday show. And I thought, my God, did he have a match for that title and win it from Lee? And now this is a rematch? And then they explained it very quickly. So I thought, oh, okay, that's the original.
Yeah. He was the longest reigning pure champion before Lee. Mm. And so he wears his original kind of more boxy looking title to the ring. And as if to say, I'm the real greatest pure champion,
of all time.
And then Lee comes down. I'm a huge Lee Moriarty guy. Yeah. I love Lee Moriarty. It's time to put him on the main roster, honestly, and really get behind this guy. I really want that to happen.
Indeed.
And they have a fantastic match. Shane Taylor is down at ringside. Mm-hmm. And, he's getting involved because it is not a pure match. And so, he's kind of meddling a little bit.
Right.
And Lee doesn't appear to be taking super kindly to it.
Oh, he does not. In fact, they got into a heated spat on the media scrum. And I was like, damn, this is like
That's what I heard.
Like intense. It felt almost real. So I would not be surprised if there's a split there or if Lee gets kicked out of the group.
Right. And goes babyface,
Not to mention, and I'm sorry, real quick, Moxley on commentary. That threw me off. I was like, holy shit, John Moxley is on commentary for Final Battle?
Right.
Like, this is must see. You have to tune in.
Yes. While John Moxley continues to flummox Caprice Coleman, who doesn't know how to understand Moxley's pausing at times, so talks over him.
Yeah,
it was really, really funny, and then he kept cracking Caprice up. Yeah. I mean, Caprice broke kayfabe many times. Just laughing at John. But within 10 minutes in this 30-minute Iron Man match, Lee has 2 falls over Nigel, and I loved the storytelling in this match because Lee tapped Nigel, and Nigel tapped really fast, but it makes perfect sense because don't get injured.
Yeah.
You're stuck, tap right away. Yeah. Just get out of it. But Lee also pinned him once, too, with a clean cradle.
And I have to admit, I was wondering where this match was going to go at that point, because it's like Nigel's an older guy. He's got 2 pins against him, 2 pinfalls, whatever, submission. Yep. Like, oh, shit, how's he going to overcome that? And in the last 5 minutes, they just go absolutely insane. But can I tell you how crazy good this match was? I wasn't even watching the match for the first half of it because I had to run to the store and get ice cream for my mom. Long story short, she's got esophagus problems, and I fed her some really spicy quesadillas. I felt terrible. I was like, I'm going to go get you ice cream, Mom. But anyway, so I was listening to this match, and I could hear how crazy it was. And, I brought my phone with me. I was watching it on my phone. I mean, I was trying to keep my eyes on the road, but every now and then I looked down and be like, oh, that's fucking crazy. But that's how good this match was. And I got home in time for the finish, and oh my God, I had tears in my eyes, Blade. They ended on a draw. Nigel managed to get a pinfall and a submission, I think, in the last few minutes. Mm-hmm. And they evened it up. And then, I was like, oh my God, are they going to go to sudden death? And then Bobby Cruz is like, this is a draw. And I was like, oh, boo, And, if you'd seen my reaction on Threads, I was, screaming in all caps. And then Lee Moriarty was like, nah, let's finish this. Let's find out who the best is. And then they do sudden death rules, and I was like, fuck yes.
Yep. And Lee just pins him,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
he had him double pinned, folded up like an accordion. It was beautiful.
Right. Yep. And what I liked was the only reason it ended in a draw was because Shane Taylor knocked Nigel out and threw him back in the ring. And Lee got a pin with 1 second left.
Right.
To even it back up.
Yeah.
And so Lee didn't like that.
He did not.
But what Nigel does after this match, he gets down on his fucking knee.
Yeah, class act.
And gives Lee the old pure title, you are the successor. I shouldn't have this anymore.
Yeah. So respectful.
You are
so
the
cool.
true pure champion. That was so dope.
Yeah.
The moment was, I just got goosebumps talking about it. The moment was as good as the match,
And that's why it kind of felt like a title match too. And I was confused that it wasn't, and even again to Moxley being there, he's screaming, he's getting into it. He's like, take his fucking head off, Lee.
Yeah.
For Nigel and stuff too. He says, if you touch Nigel, you're in danger. He added a lot to this match. It was so good. He's talking to Shane Taylor too.
Yep. And Shane is talking shit to Nigel after the match, and Lee's trying to keep him away from him. And then apparently it boiled over in the scrum.
Oh yeah.
Now, just before this match, Deonna Purrazzo led the show off facing Billy Starks for the end of the women's pure title tournament.
Yes.
A tournament that has been ongoing now for 3 or 4 months because of injuries.
And they also went bi-weekly a couple times with the matches.
Right. And Queen Aminata was injured, and they finally had to have her forfeit her match to Deonna Purrazzo.
So sad.
Which I think Deonna probably would have beaten her anyway.
Right, yeah. It seems like she was destined for this title to be its first holder.
I think so. And she's the right choice. Yeah. I really think she is.
Definitely.
And she has a very good match with Billy Starks, but she just outclasses Billy in this match. She just kind of dominated her and just broke her down and beat her. You know what? I thought that was the right call. Billy did a great job selling.
Love Billy. I love Deonna, but Deonna is she is really good at that technical kind of wrestling. The more she does of that, the more she shines, in my opinion. Yeah,
and her submissions look so brutal. Mm-hmm. I mean, who wouldn't tap to that stuff, So, Billy doesn't lose anything by losing this match. She would have been the wrong choice. That's pure is not her style.
Right.
So, I was glad because I think, honestly, Athena's not losing that title until she loses it to Billy. And I didn't want Billy to win the title.
Right.
Because I don't want her distracted with that, because I want Athena to lose the belt and move up.
Right.
It's so past time.
Yeah.
But I thought this was the right outcome. And it was a very good match. Very much worth seeing.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other matches that really stood out to me, and when I saw it announced, I laughed my ass off.
Yeah. I was so excited.
Was Ricochet defending the national title, his first defense against Dalton Castle.
Mm-hmm. Man, this felt like something right out of pre Tony Khan era Ring of Honor, because
yeah,
Dalton Castle was a huge part of the show back then.
Yep.
And I was just excited to see him in a singles match for a title. I didn't think he would win, obviously, but it was so entertaining and good wrestling. Like, he's so deceptively good, like catch wrestling and stuff. So
Dalton has the gimmick of somebody like Orange Cassidy or like a Danhausen or something, but he has these amateur wrestling bona fides that you can't argue with. And his suplexes are amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's healthier than he's been in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
He had a very serious back injury when he was the Ring of Honor champion.
Right.
And his career really got derailed by it in a lot of ways. And he had to be careful about what kind of matches he was wrestling, as I recall. And, kind of became a mid-carder again.
Right.
But I love Ricochet so much. He is so much fun as just this shit-talking, dickhead, gatekeeper heel.
The way he took out that boy, too, the big one, just out of nowhere.
Oh, my God.
Just a shithead move.
And then the boys are so terrible at being boys as well. I'm not sure who was under the mask, but it was like, it would have been worse if they were good at it.
Right.
Them being so non-rhythmic and bad at it was fantastic. And then, there's this giant boy. There's 4 boys. And what I loved was Ricochet takes out the big boy, takes out the biggest one. And Riccaboni is selling the boy's injury as a shoot.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, they are checking on boy number 4 at ringside here. And he's like got that like concerned voice.
Yeah, or he's like,
he would have it, if he was selling like a major injury. Riccaboni is so good.
He's so
good. Him and Caprice together are just unbelievable. Caprice, amazing. But just hilarious match. And finally, Dalton gets distracted checking on a boy. Boy number 4, as it turns out. And slides back in the ring, gets hit with a spirit gun and pinned.
Yeah.
Amazing match. It's hilarious. It's everything you want it to be between these two.
Yes.
But definitely make sure this is a match you watch. If you just want, this was a great where it was on the card because you're going to have so many great in-ring technical masterpieces.
Right.
And Ricochet and Dalton gave you a great match that was also just very fun.
Yeah, very entertaining, and it kind of breaks the show up a little bit, so it gives you a reprieve.
Yep. And seeing Ricochet be that fuckhead heel, I kind of almost don't want him to be like a world title guy.
Right.
Like, I love that he lost to Bobby Lashley in a minute, and just before he won this belt.
Yeah.
Like, It adds to Ricochet. It didn't take away anything.
Right.
Like, he's a guy you don't even have to protect.
Exactly.
He's like, he's so good at getting his heat back no matter what.
Well, you know what? Speaking of bad takes, like there was somebody I argued with online about Ricochet saying that like he's not good at promos. And I'm like, my man, can you not see that everything he's saying and doing is completely intentional? Like, he is trying to be this person. And if a promo sounds bad, for him, that's by design. Like he's not trying to be The Rock or MJF. He's not trying to deliver a classic, memorable promo. Like he's trying to get you to hate him. He wants to be annoying.
He's an old school territory heel where it's like, I've got to convince you to hate me because I'm not going to be back here for another year and I'm only here tonight. And I've got to convince you that I am the worst, least sympathetic piece of dog shit ever in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I have 5 minutes to accomplish this goal.
And he's so good at it. My God.
He's so good at it. He's like, keep booing, I can hear you. Like he
talks shit during the matches. Like it's great.
He's talking shit the entire time. When Dalton throws him, he makes the high pitched yelp. He's like, he's so great at this.
Yeah.
I mean, I love him. I just love him.
Yeah.
And I just look forward to seeing him. I don't care what he's doing.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's just a promo. I don't care what he's doing.
He fucking
this guy is
when he came in with his battle with Swerve and he went that psychotic character route. Like, he doesn't even do that anymore. And it's just like, from that moment, I was like, oh, he's made. Yeah.
Yep. No, it was the Swerve thing was the final thing that he needed to do to like, okay, he can go psycho.
Yeah.
But most of the time he's an annoying nerd.
Yeah.
who clearly is just obsessed with anime. And, I'm watching the show, Yu Yu Hakusho, and the spirit gun is from that show.
Right.
Like, it's fucking hilarious. Fucking hilarious. Yeah. Shout out past guest host Kay for watching Yu Yu Hakusho with me on FaceTime. But the men's world title match was good. Very good, in fact. But I wouldn't say it was great. I think this match was kind of designed to give Bandito a bit of a chance to lay back and not do the insane shit that he's been doing all year long, because I have a feeling he might be just a bit banged up.
Right.
So this is a 6-person survival of the fittest match. Here's what I love about this match. It's an elimination match.
Right.
Okay? I wish all multi-person matches were elimination.
I kind of do too. Yeah, we need more elimination style matches.
Yeah, because like I don't like the first pinfall wins because it just gives everybody this lazy booking out if they don't want somebody to take a pin.
Yeah.
Like when they booked Takeshita Okada and Mascara Dorada. It ended up being a fantastic match, but we all knew who was getting pinned.
Right.
Like we all knew who it was. It was Mascara Dorada. They made him look strong as hell.
Yeah.
But we all knew. And that's exactly what happened.
Right.
So I would say this was a very good match that didn't quite have the people in it that it would have needed to have in order to like hit that holy shit, what's going to happen next kind of thing.
Right. They did have a pretty interesting, sequence of events and who got eliminated in what order.
Yeah.
My short-term memory is like absolutely dog shit. So I kind of
remember why.
Yeah, I wonder why. I kind of remember the match from last year where they did the same thing, and it was Commander winning the ROH TV title. And I remember that being absolutely insane and awesome and fun. And I remember Blake Christian was in that. I don't remember all the other people, but, so they did a lot of great stuff in this one. It maybe wasn't as good as that one, but, I really enjoyed Blake Christian. He's just kind of gone crazy with the stuff. He's maybe the one white guy that can hang with all these luchadors like that.
Well, and I think Blake has elements to his game that he's still working on. Like I don't find him completely convincing in promos yet, but I do like his character and I do like his style in the ring. I just don't think he's been built up as a believable threat to Bandito yet.
Right.
And
not.
I didn't think Sammy was winning. I didn't think Mordos, I just didn't think he was winning. Those guys just both won the tag titles earlier in the night.
Right.
Like they already have shit to do.
Exactly.
And, they had to figure out something because Roosh got hurt.
Yeah.
He's got an injured knee. And so I think this was designed to, make sure Bandito still had a cool match without like getting killed.
Yeah. Wearing him down all the rest of the way. Because my God, he's been giving us every ounce that he has for like the past 6 months. Every these matches that he has, it's like match of the year contender. And he's leaving it all out there.
He's the best in the world right now.
He is. Period. He's the number one wrestler. He's the best. He's just unbelievable. I love the man so much. My God. And he's so wholesome.
I do. I love him. When Caprice said last night after the match and Bandito's like making the way to the back, the way he acts and reacts to the fans, the way that's a world champion.
Yeah.
This man was destined to be a world champion babyface. I was a little worried for just a sec. I was like, is Brody going to turn on him?
Somebody pointed that out, and I even had that fear. I was like, Brody's standing next to him. I'm like, oh God, please don't close
added
him.
some of that awkward tension just for a moment. And Commander's there, and you're like, why is Commander here? Like,
what's going on here?
What? They're not gonna. No, you're not gonna.
Right. Yeah.
And thankfully, no. Thankfully, no. No. Brody's too likable. You can't do that to him.
I will say, there was a little bit in this match where I was impressed with Sammy Guevara. A lot of people hate his guts, and I've always thought he's had massive potential, and I thought he hadn't been showing that in a long time. And he finally got a chance to show it in this match where it was like, okay, this is the Sammy I remember from day one, who's just as capable as being exciting and athletic as the rest of these guys. So good on him for that. And his new douchebag personality, he must be taken right after Ricochet because he is good at getting the crowd to hate him.
Well, okay, so he's leaning into being the fact that he is just utterly unlikable. Like, he didn't even have to say or do anything, and people booed the shit out of him.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was when he was trying to be a fucking baby face.
Right, yeah.
So they hate you. They fucking absolutely fucking hate you. So just be as hateable as possible.
Exactly.
His mustache is entirely... It's all eyeliner. It's not real.
Oh, it's not?
Like... I don't think that's facial hair at all. I think that is entirely drawn on.
Super pencil thin.
And so it's like the douchiest douche shit that you can do. And I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Like, I like this version of Sam.
And it was smart, I want him to. They leaned into it. They kept trying to climb in both his matches. He'd climb up, the crowd would boo him. And he'd say, Mordos, you climb up. And the crowd would cheer up. The crowd loves Mordos. You know, raise my hand, boo, raise his hand, yay. Like, yeah, he knows.
Now they can make that a story too, where there's tension after a while because people like Mordos so much better than him, you know? And Sammy can do some depraved, terrible shit that just further cements him as a total piece of fucking unredeemable garbage. And
I will say he did one thing that I really appreciate from an absurd comedy perspective. Whether it was the ROH crew or somebody in attendance that filmed it, when he got eliminated, apparently he stayed on the ground and he rolled all the way back up the entrance ramp without getting up. He just kept rolling over like, oh, okay, I'm down. And just kept rolling all the way to the back. I was like, God damn it, Sammy, that is so my humor.
Yeah, me too. He sold all the way to the back.
I love it, so...
Yeah, I love the commitment to a bit. He seems like he's having fun, too.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important part of it. This guy, just fuck the babyface thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Just be a douche.
Sammy, I would have no problem if they really put some steam behind him. Like, if this guy is the ROH champion, like a year from now or 6 months from now or something, you could do that.
Yeah.
You could do that.
I think he might need to reinvent himself to be like a harder character, you know, like something that,
maybe
like that could maybe work to make him a bad guy, you know, but
I think he needs to do more detestable shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Right now it's like, hey, I know you fucking hate me, so I fucking hate you too, you know? And that's cool, but that's not a main event gimmick, you know? So we'll see, but I think he could get there.
Yeah.
I think he could get there. So all in all, it was a fine match. It ends, you know, with Hechicero and Bandito for the third time of going at it. They have such great chemistry together. Hechicero takes the grossest, most disgusting looking bumps. I admire this man.
That steel steps bump, my God.
That's what I'm talking
chills
about.
Down through my rib cage, my back.
Yeah. Well, it was another. I mean, you got to bring a few extra pairs of pants to these shows because, you know, you're gonna shit a few times, and that was one of them.
Yeah. You know, when it came down to the two of them, I almost for a minute thought, I was like, okay, well, this is now technically Hechicero Bandito 3. Maybe Hechicero actually takes the title this time.
Yeah.
You know, and I was surprised that he didn't. So
he was the only guy in the match that I would have been okay with winning besides Bandito. And, you know, he would need more build. He just needs more build.
Yeah.
And maybe they get there, you know, and he does take it from Bandito, but this was a very good match, but it was put in the right spot. I'm glad it wasn't the main event.
Right.
Because the main event, Ghost, was something else.
The main event was a fucking saga, man. Like, I might have had some sugar crashing and I was like dozing off, not because it was boring, but I would wake up to like the tide being shift one way or the other. And I was like, oh my God, this is, and then it got really crazy. And I was like, okay, I'm back alive. I'm focused. I'm locked in. It was a saga.
This is the best match I've ever seen Persephone have.
Mm-hmm.
It's Persephone and Athena for the ROH Women's World Title. Best match I've ever seen from Persephone. And so much of it, I mean, look, she is great in the ring. She is outstanding.
Yeah.
I love how she plays to her strength and her size.
Yeah.
Yet she can do so much cool kind of aerial stuff too.
Yeah. And great character work. Facial expressions were on point. She was so shocked when she didn't get the 3 count.
Yep. And she kind of unraveled a little bit. You know, she kind of showed why Athena won.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Somebody pointed out that I agree with. This was like the closest it felt like somebody could actually beat Athena. You know, that wasn't maybe properly built up with a storyline, because this was very short notice. This match, this rivalry that sprung up with like 1 or 2 weeks notice. And like, so I didn't think Persephone was going to win, but they tried their damnedest to convince you that she could. Ian Riccaboni talked about her name meaning, you know, like the changing of the seasons and stuff. It comes from Greek mythology. And they're both from Texas, and they both have like Greek mythological names. That's just kind of awesome.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that part, but yeah, obviously. Yeah, well, and what I would say, in addition to, I mean, she dominated Athena for a lot of this match.
Yeah.
She looked like she had her a bunch of times.
Athena looked like she was really hurt too with her back.
She looked
selling that.
She was selling well, and it's because she was going to get dominated that whole match. So show why, you know, and great psychology, great selling, and I was legit pissed when Athena won, because one thing I will say about old Ring of Honor is every once in a while, like Noah star Takeshi Morishima was the ROH world champion for 6 months, 7 months. He defended the belt in Noah. And I liked that they did stuff like that.
Right.
I would have loved it if Persephone was the one, you know, kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Because they were chanting new champ at the end of the match. You know, they were chanting for her.
Yeah.
She had the crowd. She had the people at home. And there's like whatever Athena's effect on ROH has been, it's accomplished.
Right.
It can't get any bigger.
Right. I'm starting to wonder at this point, like, who's it going to be? Who can be her?
Right.
You know, like, I could see her maybe taking on a couple more outsiders, like, is it Botzilla? That would be amazing.
Yeah, Botzilla.
But what you had mentioned earlier about it, like, being Billy Starks, and it's like, if they're going to do that, then they really need to, like, lock that in and get it going, you know?
She won this belt at Final Battle 3 Final Battles ago. Like, she has beaten Hikaru Shida. She's beaten Billy Starks twice. She's beaten
Willow Nightingale twice.
She's beaten everybody.
Yeah.
You know?
I came to the conclusion, like, she just needs to vacate this title like Samoa Joe did, you know, because nobody's going to beat her for it, clearly, you know, and just drop it and move on up to AEW proper. And
I think the problem with that, though, is like nobody gets the rub.
Right.
You know what I mean? Nobody gets to say, I finally ended that title reign. And that's why you do a title reign like this, is like to give the rub to the next person, even if they hold it like a fraction of the amount of time. It's still, you're the one who beat Athena, you know, like.
So it's got to be
it's
someone that's going to benefit from that and be able to hopefully run with it, at least for that initial period.
Well, and to get people excited about someone else, right? And just like I said recently on the show, is like, there was a big 2 in the women's division in AEW. It was Toni Storm and Mercedes, and now there's a big 3.
Yeah.
Because Stat has beaten both of them.
Right.
And proved that she's on their level.
Right.
And currently she's beyond both of them.
Yeah.
You know?
She's ascended.
Right now in Ring of Honor, there's a big 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Athena. And the problem with title reigns like this is that you run the risk of making everybody kind of look pathetic by comparison.
Right.
You know, she's so much better than everybody else in kayfabe. Not saying in real life.
Right.
Although I do think she is one of the top 5 best wrestlers in the world. Like, and I think a case could be made that she's the best women's wrestler in AEW/ROH. I think that case could be made. But this was a great match. I wanted Persephone to win. They convinced me she was going to win a few times. I bit real hard.
Yeah.
A few times.
She took that O-face. Like, my God, I think Black Nerd on Threads pointed out, like, she sold that like death. And like at that moment I knew, I was like, oh, it's over. But
it's over. Yeah. No, I knew it was over as soon as the way she sold when she fell.
Went stiff and fell straight back, like, ooh.
Yep. It was a great sell. Great sell. Great match. I want Persephone signed to a dual contract.
Mm-hmm.
I want her in. And you know what? Have a rematch and have her beat Athena.
Yeah, I would be great with that.
I would go with it. Have her be a big star.
Yeah.
You know, have her be the big star in the women's division in ROH for a while.
She would be a great, dominant ROH champion, I think. You know?
Yep. And the perfect person to beat Athena, really. They're opposites. She's a power wrestler. You know, she's got certain tools that Athena doesn't. So I think she would be a great choice.
Right.
But there was one more match that happened much earlier in the show, but for me was the highlight.
Yes. Oh my God.
And it was a match that I had said, I don't know if I said it on the show or not, but a few weeks ago I said, I wish that Red Velvet and Mercedes match that they had on Dynamite had happened after the Statlander match, because if it did, I think Velvet would have won.
Right.
Well, they announced this rematch.
It's like they heard you.
Yeah, and I think I said it in a private conversation. There's no fucking way they heard me. But, like, I am so glad they had this rematch. Mm-hmm. And these two ladies showed out so hard. They have incredible chemistry together. It's unfucking believable.
Whatever that move that Red Velvet did to Mercedes off the top rope, it kind of looked like a destroyer, but it was like from a Cazadora, and then like they just flipped over. Mercedes landed her back. It was brutal, but beautifully done.
Yep. And as we tape this, Collision hasn't happened yet, and Mercedes is defending the TBS title against Layla Gray on the show tonight.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
After this match the night before.
Yeah.
Insane. They had an incredible match, and Red Velvet cleanly pins Mercedes Moné to win back the ROH women's television title.
Mm-hmm.
I jumped out of my chair, pumped my fist in the air. I have been a huge Red Velvet fan from the very jump.
Oh, yeah. From the days of Dark. Day one, you could see she had something special, and she could go places. You know, they just needed to, like, foster that and build her up. And get some experience. This was such a great match. Like, I wasn't sure she was going to pull it out, because with Mercedes, you could literally see that going either way. You know, like, oh, sorry, kid, you're not quite ready yet. But then Velvet gets the win after a hard-ass fought battle. And then immediately Mercedes is like, she's trying to calm herself and soothe herself. She's like, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's whatever. It's not that big of a deal. And like, you know, the crash out is coming, and it's going to be fucking epic.
Well, and did you saw the promo? Obviously, it was on the show.
Yeah.
So, you know, she fucking drops a fuck bomb. Mm-hmm. She's like,
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I like, fuck out of my face.
Yeah, get the fuck out of my face.
Poor Layla, and then Layla's like, trying to be nice.
Yeah, and Layla's like, well, what are you doing tomorrow? And Mercedes is like, oh, hell no. I'm getting the hell out of Ohio.
Like, I'm not sticking around for Collision. And immediately Tony Khan's like, booked.
And I don't think Layla's going to take the TBS title if I had to predict it. We'll know by the time this episode is airing.
Right.
But But
once again, feels like anything could happen. Like, it will be a giant shock if she does. I too don't think that Layla will take this one, because somebody else pointed out, it might have been Lee, that the TBS title should be the last thing she loses, in this cascade of losing all her belts and whatnot.
And no offense to Mercedes, who I believe might be one of the top 10 most beautiful women that's ever lived, but she was holding it like Gollum held the ring.
Precious.
You know what I mean? Like, the TBS title is her baby. So I think we're in crash out mode now, and this losing to Red Velvet proved it.
Yeah.
And Velvet, man, I know they're trying to make her a cornerstone of Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
She could kill it on the main roster too.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm real happy with this. This also made the TV title feel more significant, in my opinion. And to anyone listening to this, if you're a legit Mercedes hater, look, if she's not your favorite, if you just don't like watching her matches for whatever reason, I don't get it at all.
Yeah.
But if you think that Mercedes somehow has been booking herself or in any way has said, no, I won't lose, you're fucking stupid.
You're full of shit.
You're just by her being booked so strong, she just made Red Velvet last night. She made her career. That's the biggest win of her career.
Maybe ever.
And she can say that forever from now on.
Exactly. And, the match.
She made it against the world champion.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago,
Exactly. The match they had, because I've seen the critique also that Mercedes can't wrestle. And it's like, are you fucking blind? Are you not even watching?
Dumb.
Because every match she has since she's been out of WWE, in my mind, has proven that. The ones with Statlander, my God, those were fucking battles. They felt like struggles, and in a good way, And this was another one to add to that. she, obviously very different from Toni Storm, but in the same vein, she's one of one, she is a case for the GOAT. She's out there doing the damn thing so much, flying, having 3 matches in 3 nights in 3 different countries. It's you cannot deny what this woman is achieving. And for others, she's not just herself.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. Now she's going to go start dropping all these titles to people in these promotions.
Putting them over.
And then those people now are the people who beat Mercedes.
Yeah, they will have that.
They are going to. And those people are going to draw money for those promotions. I mean, it should be so fucking obvious to anybody with a basic command of human logic.
With a functioning set of eyeballs, maybe.
yeah, and common sense. Yeah. Come on, you morons! Don't waste our time with this shit.
Okay.
But props to Mercedes. I think she's making her case as the GOAT right now. She's on the list, and she's high on the list. I don't know where, but she's making her case.
Very high.
So. Ghost, we're going to hit the music. There, you said doing the damn thing. There was one more thing that was done this week that was kind of crazy. We're going to talk a little tiny bit about it when we come back.
Just a bit.
Ghost, before we send this thing off, it was announced this week that Netflix has made the winning offer to purchase the assets of WBD's streaming side, which would be HBO Max and a variety of other things within that.
Yes.
So, the movie components. Apparently, the channels will be spun off. The cable channels will be spun off into a separate Discovery Global, something like that, that will be run as a separate company.
Right.
Those are not being purchased by Netflix.
Interesting.
However, so that would mean, theoretically, just from my amateur view, that, the contract that AEW has would be in full effect for the agreed upon term through 2027. Tony Khan was asked about it last night. He said it's way too early to talk about that. and I agree.
Yeah.
But, that doesn't stop the amateur business experts in the IWC from prognosticating what that means. That WWE has a deal with Yeah, that WWE has a deal with Netflix that says they can be the only wrestling streaming on their network. Which no one even knows for sure that that's true.
Right.
And will Netflix absorb WB? Will they absorb HBO Max and, make a super streaming service? Will this even be approved by the FCC, who has allowed all kinds of monopolistic things to continue? Probably.
Right.
But it's going to take some time.
Yeah. Well,
and on the consumer side of things, nothing's going to change for well over a year.
Yeah. And not to mention, apparently Paramount has made a hostile last-minute bid in order to undo this and, make sure that this doesn't happen. Without getting too deep into the politics, Paramount owned by the Ellisons, who are some billionaire fuckboys who are very in bed with the Trump administration.
Right.
All these fucking oligarchs basically are. So I could see the administration not approving of this deal because they did want Paramount to be the ones to win the bid. We just don't know what's going to happen. They sent out an email. I got one this morning, from Netflix, basically trying to take a preemptive victory lap, saying yeah, we won the bid and all WB's assets are going to be joining ours. And even they themselves said this isn't final yet, but so nothing's going to change for the immediate future.
Right.
So, but yeah, like you said, they just seem to want the streaming stuff, which includes HBO Max and Warner Brothers Film Studios, which a lot of people are sounding the alarm on as the death of cinema in the theaters. I don't know about all that, but AEW still has contracts on the cable side of things. And as we saw with WB over this last year, HBO is a valuable brand, and getting rid of that is a stupid fucking idea. So even if Netflix absorbs them, it would probably be smart to keep it as a separate service or a separate part in their service, like a channel or something. I don't know. We're getting so goddamn close to reinventing cable.
Right. Well, and we have been prognosticating this. We have seen the tea leaves. We've been reading them for a long time. It's been obvious that eventually that's what would happen, is they would just rebuild cable as a streaming thing. And something to keep in mind for the AEW people who might be feeling a little freaked out. One, nothing's happening with the cable channels.
Right.
Okay. And that's AEW's bread and butter current. Two, they have a contract that has to be honored. It doesn't matter who takes over. The contract is still valid.
Exactly.
Okay. Three, no one actually knows what's going to happen.
Right.
There's so many things that could happen. We have a government that, that's currently overseen by a madman who, very fascistically, one thing people don't talk about when they call Trump a fascist is the kind of corporate fascism that he's been involved in, having the government own points and companies. That's fascism. That's not supposed to be happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's anti-capitalist, and if you're an American proud to be a capitalist, you should be against that.
Exactly.
The government shouldn't be owning anything, and the government shouldn't have anybody who they want to win.
Yeah, exactly.
They shouldn't be meddling in these kinds of things. And, at the very least, Netflix and the people who own Netflix are big donors to, democratic causes. And so, not that makes them great, because it doesn't.
Right.
All of this is a disaster for the entertainment business. It will mean people lose their jobs for sure.
Yeah.
Lots of people.
That was something I was really adamantly against. Like, why can't WB just fucking get rid of David Zaslav? Like, why do you have to sell? Don't sell to anyone. Just fix your goddamn company and keep it as it is, but I digress.
Well, the point is, nobody knows shit about anything. Don't get spun out about this right now. Don't do that to yourself. There's enough shit that's really happening to get upset about. You don't need to get upset about this. This is nothing.
And if I can offer some words of hope, like I am so confident in AEW, if that's what people are worried about, and Tony Khan's ability to put on a good show and keep this thing alive. Like, even if the worst should happen, even if they, got booted from the streaming service and then got their TV contracts canceled and they're no longer on TV, like, I would assume that another network would, like, scoop them up in a heartbeat. And at the very least, he could create his own streaming service, if all that fails. So, like, I have all the confidence in the world. I have no doubt that AEW is not going to be affected by this negatively in the long run. They're going to stick around. They're not going anywhere, so like, try not to spiral out, people. It's not that big of a deal. Not right now.
Tony Khan is a very motivated billionaire fan of pro wrestling. If one of us, the Sickos, had billions of dollars at our disposal, we'd be doing what Tony Khan does.
100%.
And he is absolutely a real, like, invested fan.
Yeah.
He is not going to let AEW go out of business.
Absolutely.
He has the resources to keep it going. He also has connections outside of WB. Okay. He's kept those, tight, but, as he should. Those were the people paying him, right? But it's not like there's nowhere else to go.
Exactly.
So, at the end of the day, y'all, the other thing too is when Netflix, let's just hypothetical situation. Let's say Netflix decides, you know what? Fuck HBO Max. We're going to absorb all of that onto Netflix. And they have this contract with WWE that's ironclad that Netflix wasn't smart enough, didn't have enough good lawyers to figure out how not to sign. And they go, shit, well, we can only have one wrestling promotion. Well, we're paying this one like $150 million a year. And they're getting about, between cable and everything, they're getting about 1 million views a week. And then we have this other one that we're paying literally 3 times as much a year for, and they're getting 500,000 more viewers a week. Who's returning more to you?
Exactly.
It's not as cut and dry as people would like it to be.
Yeah.
So calm down. Let's just all calm down.
It would be interesting,
take a big chill pill.
If Netflix even decided that maybe they want to have multiple wrestling promotions on there.
Right.
Like, I would not hate that. I have Netflix. It's part of my T-Mobile plan, so I can't really get rid of it without fundamentally altering my plan. And I've been grandfathered in. Technically, I have the standard package, and I have no ads. So
nice.
I don't know how this shit's going to change what I got, but I assume as long as T-Mobile just honors this contract, I'm good to go, but so we'll see how it plays out. I don't think it's the end of the world. A lot of people are, Chicken Little screaming that the sky is falling, but like, we'll just have to see how it plays out. This deal might not even go through. That's the other crazy thing.
Look, I don't have a lot of faith in our government to make sensible decisions about who's a monopoly and who's not, because look at the world we live in. We're basically all just going to be one giant company at some point, the way things are going. Like Sickos Club will be bought out by Amazon. It's just all going to happen.
Fingers crossed.
Right? But give us that fucking Prime money, bitch. But yeah, we are fundamentally not well regulated when it comes to these things. So I have very little faith in the FCC or any other governmental agency to make a sensible decision here. However, there is a lot of things that could stop this from happening. A lot, not just one, like 50. So
there's a lot.
Hold on to your ass. Don't worry about it too much.
Yep.
Nobody in the wrestling business knows what's happening right now. Tony Khan himself just said last night, it's way too early.
Yeah.
So as somebody involved in all of this, he's saying it's way too early.
Yeah.
Calm down. Ghost, Neon Ghost, my friend. It is very, very good to have you with us on this episode.
Thank you for having me.
Very special episode. This extended edition of Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out. Joshi G will be gone for a while, but she will be back, as we all know and want. And I'm very excited for her and Joshi J for Joshi B.
Yay.
But make sure you go to sickosclub.com. Check out, make sure you subscribe to this podcast in whatever podcast platform you listen to it on. Make sure you tell your friends about it. Make sure you leave us a rating in the iTunes store or the Spotify, whatever they call that. Leave us a rating. Leave us a comment wherever comments can be left. We will respond to you. We appreciate your feedback so much.
Do it, fuckers.
Do it, fuckers. And make sure you check out Neon Ghost's awesome designs in the shop on sickosclub.com. Anyway, till next time, I'm Blade Daly.
I'm Neon Ghost.
Pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Forever.
Sickos Club.